very much for facilitating this interview. We're here to talk about the benefits of joining a credit union, and also we've noticed that the public service credit union has been doing a lot, and it has been drawing a lot of support from young people. So if one of you gentlemen can tell us what really are the benefits of joining a credit union.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak on this issue. The credit union is a members organization. Each member has a stake in the organization. They are a shareholder of the organization. Unlike the regular banks, commercial banks, you have a stake in the decision making of the credit union. This is what makes it attractive to a lot of people. Most of our members are the minimum wage earners, and they are able to access cheap loans from the credit union, unlike the issues that they have with other commercial banks. Here they could come and they get very cheap and attractive loans, whether it is a loan that is
vehicle loan, mortgage,
secure or unsecured, whether it's secure or unsecured loans. Unlike the banks where they have to produce equity, for example, that's not a requirement here. So I think that's what is making it a lot more attractive. And for the younger people especially, who are now starting out, who want to build a home, who wants to buy a car, etc. Even young people who now want some form of transportation, whether it's a motorcycle or a vehicle, they know that they could come to the credit union and they can get easy access to that loan.
I know you said mortgage. I know there has been a challenge for a lot of Guyanese, my age, to access loans from banks, but then sometimes you feel that you don't get the kind of money from the credit union that you will need to complete the house or take it to a certain way before you can go to a bank. When it comes to a mortgage, how much money do you actually commit to that?
So as of June this year, every member of the credit union who is eligible can access up to $15 million. So you no longer need to go to a commercial bank for a loan to build your house, providing that the construction costs $15 million and less. We can provide that funding for you. If you would require additional money, then you will have to get it from other sources. But most of our members, as I said, are low-wage earners and require mortgages below the $15 million.
So what has been the response since this new system for the mortgage ceiling will have increased? What has been the response?
The response has been extremely overwhelming. We've had applications in the hundreds relative to both the mortgage and the vehicle loans, the secure loans. We have doled out already since June hundreds of millions of dollars worth in both vehicle loans and mortgages. So we have equally a large number of applications being processed every day. So the response has been extremely tremendous.
Now, if I may, can I ask about the age range of persons who have been making requests for these loans?
Sure. So we would have had applicants who would have sought to have either the mortgage or the car loans from the age variant, because quite recently when we would have launched, we had the first person who was featured on our Facebook page. She's no stranger to most persons, and that is someone who is pensionable, which is remarkable. I mean, with the other commercial institutions, they take that into consideration. Not saying that we're not being prudent to the credit union. By no means we're disenfranchising anyone. So across the board, we're having a level playing field, so to speak, as to applicants for both mortgage and car loans.
So tell me, what are the requirements for someone who is seeking to get a mortgage?
Before you answer that, I just want to say that specifically, we have members in their 20s who are applying for loan. Just this morning, a gentleman who is, I think, about 23 years applied and got loans for a motorcycle. The person that Mr. Clark referred to earlier, the pensioner, is in her 70s. So there's a range at every level, and just last weekend at our management meeting, the officer in charge of the credit section showed us a graph of the type of people who are borrowing money from us, who are benefiting, and it cuts across the gamut of the age range at the moment.
And also, just to note a bit more specifically, relative to vehicle loans, between the months of June and August, we have doled out or given out over $200 million worth in vehicle loans. And relative to mortgages, we would have given out over $54 million worth in mortgages over that same period, June to August 2021 thus far. So that's a clear indication of both the demand for the services that we are offering and our commitment to provide same. All right. Equally important, the requirements for mortgages are very simple. All you need is your 3 most recent pay slips, a job letter. You need a proof of ID, also a proof of ownership of land if you construct your home, or you need a copy of the transport or land title of the land that you're seeking to purchase, which is the complete unit, both house and land. You will also be required to have a valuation, a projected valuation. You will need also naturally a plan and an contractor's estimate. Those documents and any other document deemed relevant by the loan officer, but those are the core requirements. Now, I must note at this stage that your interview when you make this application for your mortgage is very critical, because at that stage it will be scrutinized. We do have some prudence that goes into the process. So we will advise any of our members to apply and to get their interview, and then we take it from there.
Given what you have said just now in relation to persons applying for mortgages, purchasing vehicles and stuff like that, how does that make you feel as an organization now, given where you would have been a couple of months ago?
So 3 years ago, 3.5 maybe years ago, when I assumed the chairmanship of the committee here, there was a lot of disparaging remarks about the credit union and what it was doing by its members, and a lot of members were closing their accounts and so on. And as an examination of the institution and what it can do for our members, as a result of that examination, we thought it best to introduce these new products, to rebrand the institution, to refurbish the building, the office space and so on, make it a lot more friendly to our members. And within the last 3 years, we have seen a complete turnaround in terms of new members. In fact, every month we've seen at least about 300 people applying for membership. And every month we've seen, at least in the last year especially, at least 600 loans being issued every month. So things have really turned around in the last 3 years. We have done our best to make sure that our members can receive the attention of our staff in a timely manner. And in fact, when we came here 3 years ago, it took close to 3 weeks for any loan to be processed. Today you could get a loan the same day. Same day in your bank account, you would get the money. If you meet all of the requirements, you could get it. It's a little different with the mortgages and the car loan because you have to be interviewed and we got to be sure about your documentation, etc. And because of the large number of applicants, it's a little slower. But we're working to make sure that we can increase the pace and to make sure that within the shortest possible time, people can know whether they qualify or not. Because of course it's not automatic. One of the things we're trying to tell our members is that the monies that we're spending doesn't drop out of the sky. It's the members themselves who contribute this money, and we have to be very judicious in the way we give it out. We have to make sure that the funds are sustainable and that for future members who would need to have a loan, that it's there for them. So this is why we have a checklist that our staff would administer during the interview to make sure that you qualify. And if you qualify, then a loan is given, and then immediately upon issuing of the loan, our officers begin to track you to make sure that if you have a problem, that we can reach out and give you support to help you throughout the problem period, and to make sure that you keep up on your payments generally, so that we don't have an issue of having to repossess or, not having the cash for another person who really needs it.
I notice you talk about support. If you can be more specific, we generally like to ask what are some of the support offered. I know a mortgage is a big thing. What kind of support is given to persons trying to take this step?
So the first thing is that we are giving loans to people who would otherwise not qualify at the commercial banks. So that's the first level of support. So a lot of members who would have gone to the commercial bank and turned away, they're getting loans from us. But although we're doing that, there are still a few who their salary is so small, they still can't qualify. We are working with them. We are opening up all kinds of avenues to help them to build up their savings, for example, to work with them to help them to understand that if you want item A, maybe it's better for you to look at item B instead of item A now, or maybe it's better for you to wait a little while. So we spend an enormous amount of time talking with our members, to get them to understand financial planning. These are programs that we are going to be doing formally in the future, but now we're doing it on a one-on-one basis with the members as they come in to help them to understand how to best focus their needs. The intention is to have long-term training programs for our members in financial planning, in financial management, and things like that, so that they know, alongside them coming to access loans, that they have the support, of the credit union. We don't want members turn away. We don't like to turn away our members. So we want to put them on a program where over time, if they don't qualify now, maybe 6 months down the road they will qualify. So we roll out different options to them to help them to understand how they can qualify and what support we can give them to get there.
Could you say what percentage are young people?
I think the overwhelming amount are young people between the age of 20 and 35. Yeah, overwhelming amount. Yeah.
You've seen a spike in application from younger members. I rather suspect they are motivated by our new loan products, the vehicle loans and the mortgages. We've had one experience where we did a presentation at the Ministry of Works, and one of the young men, one of the guys there, he came back the very next week with his fiancée and brought her into Guyana Credit Union. And these are folks in their early 20s. So we have young people who are eager to have their own homes, who are very eager to have their own vehicle and mode of transportation. So we are indeed seeing a spike in younger folks coming on board and recognizing that this is a place that they could build with, grow with. It's not just coming and having a vehicle now, but you will look at a loan, at a mortgage as you begin to build your family. So we are offering not just loan facilities, but also savings facilities also. So you could come here as a young man or as a young woman, and you could be with us for your entire life. And we could advise you on financial planning. We can advise you on most of the issues that you're going to face coming up. So we encourage young people to join the credit union. You may not see the need for us now, currently, but believe me, we will arise in your future as the time goes on, because we have a lot of middle-age members coming on board now, and they're saying that they wish they had joined earlier in life. You know, they could have benefited long from these kind of facilities. So yeah, we've seen a spike in younger membership.
It's important to know that although most of our members now joining are younger people, we have a great deal of older members as well, between the age of 50 and 75, thereabout. We have a lot of members in that bracket. And so as part of the expansion plan, we are working on identifying a new premises where we will construct a state-of-the-art building that will house a number of facilities for especially our elderly members. We want to have a pharmacy, we want to have medical services, we want to have home care, we want to have a supermarket. It must be a complex where when they come to do business with the credit union, they can get all of their services completed in that complex. And then from there they go back home. So we are looking in that direction. We're hoping to start, if all goes well and we are able to acquire the property that we are talking about now, we should be able to start building by the middle of next year. So that's it. That's a plan to make sure that our members continuously, remember the credit union is not a profit-making organization. So whatever profits that are made, even though it's not a profit making, we do make profit, but the profit is not, it's for the members. So whatever we do, the members must benefit. So for example, we have on an annual basis a bursary award program for our members. We have our Christmas promotion, and now we're looking at setting up a modern state-of-the-art building for the purpose of our members to come and enjoy and benefit. In the future, we are also looking at establishing an ATM facility so that to encourage members to save more. The more they save is the more money is available for loans. And so we want to encourage people to save, but also we don't want people to save and can't access it in case of an emergency. So at the moment, they can't access their monies outside of working hours. And so with the introduction of the ATM services, they would be able to do that. So we have initiated conversations internally to be expanded with financial institutions in Guyana to help us to get to that point where we can have an ATM service available. Starting at this building, but definitely when we go to the new building.